It is the age-old question, can you teach an old dog new tricks? Alyssa is outside with our canine trainer to get us an answer. Hey Alyssa, what is the answer?
Hi. Well, I don't know the answer. Our canine trainer and behaviorist, Antonio Diaz, knows these. So yeah, let's debunk some of these myths. And the top one we always hear, and you know, we use it for us humans too, is you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Go ahead and tell us, is this myth true or not true?
Absolutely untrue, complete lies. And I like to ask a question, right? Is grandma too old to learn how to use FaceTime? Is grandpa too old to learn how to use Google Maps instead of the old atlas, right? No, and of course not. What's more important is the motivation that we use for the dog. So if you have a motivated dog, they like food, they like toys, they like affection. Those are some tools that we can use to motivate them to want to learn and to do what it is that we want them to do.
Sure. Some dogs might need more motivation than others. Some grandparents might need more motivation to learn how to FaceTime. But yeah, exactly. The grandkids, that'll do it. Okay, myth number 2. Using food in training will make your dog dependent on food to listen to you.
Absolutely not. Now listen, the thing is when you use food in training, most people misuse food. So they make their dogs dependent on the food because the training is all about the food. So an example of doing that is they'll hold a Ziploc bag full of food in their hand when they're doing training, and that's really the only time that the dog gets that motivation to do the work. One thing that's important is once your dog starts to understand the behaviors, I recommend using a leash to guide them to fulfill those requests. So if you teach your dog to go to the bed using food as an incentive to learn faster, then later on when you ask them to go to their bed, if you don't have food, the next tool that you'd want to use is a leash to guide them and make sure that they do it.
Okay, see, this is one of the things that my dog has trained us on instead of us training her, is she totally will hold out on her really good tricks that we know she knows for a high value treat. So do we need to now switch to the leash instead of the treats for some of those?
I would say yes, but I always like to clarify that like trick training, I think it's fun to use a reward. When it comes to like obedience, that's a little different. So in some cases with obedience, people will ask their dog for a known behavior that they've taught them to do, that they know they'll do with food. The dog doesn't do it, so they go, oh, well, let me go grab some food. And what I like to explain to people is that we're really teaching our dogs to hold the behavior hostage until they're offered something of value, and then they do it, which is working in reverse.
Gosh, they are so smart. Okay, myth number 3, puppies need to be 6 months old to start training.
Not at all. And so puppies are little sponges, and they're learning how to live in our world from day one. The reason why that myth sort of exists is because back in the day when training was mostly about punishment and aversive training, you had to wait until a puppy was 6 months because they could never endure that level of like force, if you will. But now we've known that using positive reinforcement and leading dogs in ways that are more beneficial for their learning can start at a super early age. I've trained puppies that are 7, 8 weeks old.
Plus, and what I've learned through you is that training is a way to bond with your pets. So why wouldn't you want to bond from the get-go? Absolutely.
And everything that they love in their life, food, toys, fun, you should use to your advantage to teach them what it is that you want.
Okay, Antonio, thank you so much for busting these myths.
Yeah, get out of here.
Jason?
All right. Well, look, I'm an old dog, and you know, you've had to teach me a few things too, so you know, it all equals out. Thanks.
It works out.